Alright, hi guys, I'm Finn, and this is probably going to be the start of a bit of a new series of tips and tricks or just general information. Um, this video here is going to be focusing on map reading and advice for beginners to hunting who may not know where deer might be hiding out and whereabouts they should be looking to go for their hunts. So first of all, the NZTOPO50 apps, these two here on the left, you have to pay for them. I think they're $25 each. But there's also the free version on the right there, Topo GPS. That works, but it doesn't read your location as accurately as the two on the left do. So it's pretty much, you don't need to buy a $500 Garmin GPS or whatever, because you can do it off your phone as long as you've got battery. So I've opened up my Topo50 South Island version, and first things first, you want to make sure that this bottom left, I'll screenshot it and circle it, this bottom left little button down there that I'm circling, that needs to be showing green for your location to be tracked. And it should take you to settings on your phone saying allow location. And you just select always when using app. And then sometimes, for whatever reason, it might flick on and off when you're in between using the app. So you just got to make sure, if you really want to see yourself, you got to make sure that is showing green, and then it'll track your location. Even when you've got airplane mode on, you've got no reception. So I've just randomly zoomed in on like an area where there might be deer in the Lewis Pass, where you might want to start hunting or looking for hunting area. So what you want to do is you want to go into settings to set up your app. So you want to click dock hunting boundaries, and you'll see what happens when I do that. So this whole area here that's highlighted in blue, these are your hunting boundaries. So as long as you get the online permit from DOC, you can hunt anywhere within these highlighted blue areas, provided you follow all the DOC guidelines and so and so. Now that you've got your hunting boundaries highlighted in blue, you might want to wonder how you can access all of this land. So you can see here, there are like marked out dotted tracks that are already written straight in onto the map itself. But to make it clearer, when you're zoomed out on a larger area, won't zoom out too much, but I'll show you in settings. You can click dock tracks. See here, turn that on. Wait for that to load, and then that has highlighted in blue the tracks. So for example, if you wanted to drive along this road and walk up this track, you might be wondering how long it might take you to walk from the road. Oh, by the way, the roads are highlighted in orange, and there's a key for all of these things. So you just find that in the settings, and it has a key for every like land feature and everything. So if you click on that, swipe up, it'll tell you all this information. It'll tell you the track length, which is very important, up the top left. It'll tell you the vertical climb, just below that, 480 meters. So obviously that's your elevation gain. And then down the bottom, I find this fairly accurate. It was a good rule of thumb. It gives you the estimated walking time. So if you click of any of your tracks that you might be looking at walking, you can adjust it. So right now it's default is no load, so that's no pack. Smooth, I don't know what that means, but fit, least fit, or unfit. So obviously the time's going to change if you put on like what a heavy pack might feel like, so it's going to make the walking time longer. If you're unfit, it's obviously going to make it longer. Heavy, unfit, blah blah blah. but I usually just keep it on the default, and it gives you a pretty good rule of thumb. And also it's given this little graph down the bottom, so that also shows your vertical climb. So on the y-axis there on the scale, it says the track starts at 800 meters, and it climbs up to, what's that, just below 1300 meters. So yeah, it's real handy when you're planning ways you might want to get up onto a ridge and walk along some tops. And see here, there's another one. So you can just do the same. Do the same with all of these. And then obviously, in settings, you can also select dock huts and campgrounds. So that'll show you. Hang on, let me find an example. That'll show you the huts. So obviously, what's this called? An hut. You can click on that. If I can. There we go. And it'll give you the, I don't know, what's that, latitude, longitude, and then the actual easting and northing marks for the topo map. And it just gives you a little bit of information up the top. But yeah, that's quite important, because then you can easily find that if you're walking out and you want to aim your GPS location towards the hut, if you haven't marked it already. And you can see where you're heading towards easily, even though if you do turn that off, which I will do now, you can see that there is actually a hut there, but you've really got to zoom in and see the black square in writing, because it won't really stand out if you zoomed out, whereas if you turn it on, it's got that big icon there, so it's really going to stand out and it'll be pretty hard to miss. Alright, so let's say you've climbed up this track, this track here, and you've got to the top, and you saw a big stag, and you want to, you might be coming back in a few days' time, you want to remember exactly where that stag is. You don't want to forget where it is on the map. So what you want to do is you want to go create, and then you want to type in whatever you want to call it. So just say saw deer. Bang. So wherever the cursor is, so I'm going to do it just to the left of that tarn there. I'm going to go create new, bang, X out of there, and you can see that waypoint there. Another cool thing you can do is, if you've heard someone talking about a hut and they've tried to describe it to you, or even a track, or the name of a mountain or a hill or anything, you can go search, click map places. You can type in what's a random name, Voca hut. Bang, click that. Select that, and bang, it's taking you there. You can maybe plan your hunt, how you're going to get in there, if you want to go in there, and so on. Another thing you might like to do is measure something on the screen, and how much distance it would be. So say if you were wanting to leave a Voca hut and you wanted to go, I don't know, up here, what's that, Moraine Flat, you can create a waypoint, bang, just name it, I don't know, leaving hut, create new, bang, that's on there. You go into your settings, click show distances on screen, and then once you click on your waypoint that you've just made, you can, using your cursor, you can stretch it out to how far you think you might want to walk, like roughly. This is just obviously in a straight line purposes for something quick. So say if you wanted to walk there, what's that, 1.5k, bang. Yeah, so that's that. Also, I haven't mentioned it already, but on the left there, just below that little camera icon, you can go satellite view. Obviously it's just like really helpful. And then topographic lines view. So the topographic lines, you can swirl your screen around, by the way, and then click the compass at the bottom to make sure that you're always facing north. So how these lines work shows the contour of the land, like the gradient of the steepness. So for example, in between, so this is the 1100 line here for altitude, and then for every one line below that thicker line, which is labelled, is 20 meters. If you got a 20 meter long measuring tape and laid it down the hill from that mark, that would be where that second line is. So, hang on. Therefore, obviously, if the lines are very close together, that means that there is 20 meters of land at each line. Like up here, there is 20 meters between that and that line there, and then there's another 20 meters below that line. But as the crow flies in a straight line on the map, it won't look like much at all. That's because it's obviously extremely steep. Like that's like almost a bluff. Like all these little squiggly lines here, that must be very steep, because there is, how many lines is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 lines in that short amount of area. 5 times 20, that's 100. So that's 100 meters, like on a very steep vertical angle. And likewise, how to find something like this up here, these gradient here, that'll be much less steeper, because there's 20 meters and then another 20 meters altitude slowly gained. Give you guys a better idea, if you're not familiar, of what this might look like. So all these lines here are like really, really squiggly, and really close together. So that means that, this also means scree, and shingle, all those little dots there, by the way. But obviously it's going to be flat here. There's obviously a riverbed, and then you can confirm by going satellite mode. So obviously up this creek, it looks like it's going to be very rocky. Heaps of rock there and heaps of shingle. And give you guys a scale of like what it might look like, you can use Google Earth. So you can use your 2 fingers to like scroll and like get a real good idea of what the terrain might look like, and whether you want to go up there or not, how far you think you might get. And then, yeah, it's real good if you want to check out a place as well as you can before walking up there yourself, and like pick out a route. And you can look on Google Earth and then find it on the topo, maybe line up the satellites and like drop a point. Might be like, oh yeah, sweet, I'm gonna walk up there, rah-de-rah. You could find that and then drop a pin on it just by going like that. And you're like, right, that's how we have to climb up to get to the top, so that you're not lost and you're more time efficient and all that carry on. Another massive key feature of the Topo app is the ability to record your hunts. So this is like an example of what it might look like after you've recorded, but I'll show you how to do it. So what you want to do is you want to click the bottom here, it says record, add a track name, just call that hunt. Oops. And you go record, and then it'll say waiting for GPS, and then it says I'm at 0 meters altitude, and it started counting down. You can see at the top. I won't actually show where I am right now, but if I walked around where I am, it would start tracking me, and then I'd go to stop the recording and see where you're up to. You click record, you can pause it, and so that's pause it. So you might want to pause it. Say if you've sat down to eat lunch, after lunch you go resume, and then you've finished your hunt for the day, click finish, and that'll be logged in. And then super cool, it shows you how far you've walked and your altitude gained and the amount of time that you are hunting for. So if I click on that, yeah, obviously you can figure that out yourselves. So yeah, that's all really handy. You can change the colours of your track, which is actually really handy if you hunt the same spot multiple times and you want to click on different hunts that you've made. You want to put them all in different colours. And obviously you can call it something different, add a category name, blah, 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 different icon, if you can be bothered with that stuff. Guys, another thing worth noting is you can sort of scope out the sort of terrain and the thickness of the vegetation on the map. When you're walking through the bush, doesn't matter if you're going to be bush hunting or tussock hunting up in the tops. You really want to be walking through pretty open bush. You don't really want to be spending your time bashing through thick vegetation if you can help it. This is the Ruahinis and all this stuff here, all this bright green stuff. I don't know if you can see the difference, but this brown stuff here, that's just tussock. That's tussock, and then all this bright green stuff, that's called leatherwood. Nasty thick stuff. Grows like head height, real thick, prickly, hard to push through. It's like a maze, you can get stuck in it. So if you're planning on, I don't know, it doesn't matter if you hunt North Island or South Island, wherever. Usually the bright green stuff is good to stay away from. You want to be looking for the darker, mature sort of bush like this. This will be more open, less dense. Same as the South Island. I'll just pull this up here. This bright green bush here, this will be regrowth, so it's younger trees, younger bush, and it'll be lower to the ground. Therefore, it won't have big trunks, and it won't be it won't really have room for you to push through. Whereas if you just go into here, this darker stuff will be more open, mature bush, so it will be easier to move through. So yeah, just something to watch out for and just be mindful of. Because no one likes bush bashing. You can spend hours getting stuck up on all that stuff, and it's pretty hard to get through, especially if you've got a pack and rifle. So yeah, those are just the first key things that are probably most important. I'm by no means an expert, but if you made it this far, hopefully you picked something up. I've probably missed a billion things because I'm only just learning all the functions of the apps myself, but might continue doing extra things like this, just little clips, tutorials, whatever. Feedback will be appreciated, but yeah, cheers for listening.